should take it slow, but I can't stay when the world is waiting. I'm too used to being on my own. Hearts will break, but I have to chase it. I'm dancing on the edge again. The wind is calling my name. I'm dancing on the edge again. This time I'm not looking back, babe. You can't change me, you can tell me down. I'll be echoes in every place I find. I'll break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. I remember when you told me I should settle down, but these restless feet won't keep me grounded. The open road's the only place I found where I feel alive, and the stars will guide me. I'm dancing on the edge again. The wind is calling my name. I'm dancing on the edge again. This time I'm not looking back, babe. You can't change me, you can tell me down. I'll be echoes in every place I find. I'll break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. A free-born mind. A free-born mind. You can change me, you can tell me down. I'll be echoes in every place I find. I break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. You can change me, you can tell me down. I'll be echoes in every place I find. I break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. You can change me, you can tell me down. I'll be echoes in every place I find. I break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. There's a hint of sweetness in her eyes, but don't mistake it, she's a storm that won't subside. Not the kind of love that fades with time. She lingers on your lips, running circles in your mind. You might think you found the alchemy to soften all her edges. You might think you got the melody that plays with all her legends. So pour yourself another round. She's the storm, you're dancing in the eye, and baby you can tame her wildfire. Go ahead and try, but you can water her down. can chase her like a dream, but she's too hard to hold. She's a fleeting taste of fire, too wild and too bold. Yeah, you might think you found the alchemy to soften all her edges. Yeah, you might think you got the melody that plays with all her edges. So pour yourself another round. She's the storm, her dancing in the eye. And baby, you can tame her wildfire. Go ahead and try, but you can water her down. No, you can water her down. Yeah, you might think you found the alchemy. Yeah, you might think you got the melody that plays with all her legends. So pour yourself another round. She's the storm, dancing in the eye. And baby, you can take her wild. Go ahead and try, but you can water her down. but I'm not okay. Still the world keeps turning. I need a break. I can't escape myself. This roller coaster of emotions and the person I'm becoming. Still learning, pushing 30. Pushing 30. Pushing 30. I got no reason to be sad. My mood just convinced me that it's bad. With every emotion that I had, but you don't care. Oh my God, it's so strange how we end up being here again. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I don't know what to say. Oh my God, it's so strange. You're right. I got you sent from miles away. It's a freeway to outer space. If you give me it, baby, I swear that we'll be alright. I'm asking to save it all over again. I'm asking to save it all over again. If we were a movie, then how would it end? But you don't care. Oh my God, it's so strange how we end up being here again. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I don't know what to say. Oh my God, it's so strange. If we decide that we're good, wanna see you crying too, so it means some to you. If you got plans to let me go, please don't let me know. If you got plans to let me go, please don't let me know. Oh my God, it's so strange how we end up being here again. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I fall down. I know you've been hurting. This spiral's a lonely road. Take my hand and listen. Maybe one day you'll cross paths and you both got new purpose. And the life you used to live is left within that old apartment. Maybe nothing's said and done, and your chest is set on fire. But I promise you, there's nothing but a cold-hearted liar. Cold-hearted liar. I know you don't wanna hear. Your heart still bleeds. The way he looks at you, every touch you give. Now you gotta listen. Maybe one day you'll cross paths and you both got new haircuts. And the jacket you used to borrow on someone else's shoulders. Maybe then the nights are clear and your heart is set on fire. But I promise you, there's nothing but a cold-hearted liar. Maybe one day you'll cross paths and you both got new perfumes. And the life you used to live is left within that old apartment. Maybe nothing's said and done, and your chest is set on fire. But I promise you, there's nothing but a cold-hearted liar. Cold-hearted When I saw you walking down that hill, head high and shoulders back, watching